Hello, it's Mark. I am the Smarties Lift Guy. 2 years and 10 months, 11,000 rides, and it's time for a story from the road. And this one was kind of fun. It was about a year ago. It is now early October 2017, but it was about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. It might have been 2 years ago. I'm not sure. But I picked up 4 people in Hollywood, and I was going to take them to the Hollywood Bowl. It was the last night of the Hollywood Bowl's performance season, and the group that was playing was the Lumineers. So I picked them up, and I always start my ride with the Smarties, and I always start my ride with the Smarties in recognition of the intelligence you've shown by selecting Lyft instead of some other ride provider that shall remain nameless. But if you're curious or uncertain, it may or may not rhyme with Goober, whom I'm trying to put out of business one sleeve of Smarties at a time. And the gentleman was sitting next to me. His name was Ben. I think it was Ben. He started laughing, and he goes, "Tell me more." I said, "Tell you more?" He goes, "Yeah, more." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, this sleeve of Smarties is only 25 calories. It's gluten-free, it's nut-free, and it is fat-free. And if you were from Canada, you'd be calling it a rocket, not a Smartie. Australia too. If you were from England, you would say, this is not a Smartie. Smarties are chocolate that come in a cardboard tube. And you'd be calling them Swizzlers." He goes, "Tell me more." I said, "Well, more?" I said, "Well, New Jersey, family owned and operated since 1949. The gentleman that started the company turned over the operation reins to his 2 sons in the 70s. And just a couple of years ago, 2 granddaughters of the original man, and or 2 daughters from the sons, and a cousin took over the business. And the year before, when they had taken it over, they pressed out, I believe it was 36 billion individual pieces of candy. And so we're sitting there, and he was like, "I can't believe you know all this about the Smarties." And I said, "Well, if you're going to give them away, you better know a little something." And right then, his sister was sitting in the back, and she said, "Well, Ben, you know that cousin, that's Natasha." I'm like, "What? What do you mean that's Natasha?" And he goes, "Oh, I loved it because I'm so interested in Smarties too, but I really got a kick out of the fact that you'd learned so much. But the gentleman that started the company is actually my great uncle." Holy cow, I go, "You mean to tell me I have Smartie royalty in the car?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy." Big laughs, lots of laughs. And he said, he goes, it's amazing that you learned all that and took the time. And I said, "Well, I have so much fun giving these things out. One of the byproducts is people will remember me. And they'll get in the car and go, 'You've given me Smarties before.' And I'll tell you my first story another time. But because of that, all I have to do is remember the number. The first time it happened, you were my first repeat. Remember number 1. Then number 2. Well, I picked up somebody tonight, and they were number 80. I've had 80 repeat riders, and it's kind of fun. And then generally when I tell them that, I'll usually say, "I'm actively looking for repeat rider 81. I hope I see you again." So the thing that Ben said at the end of that night, the Lumineers and the Smarties and the ride with the Smartie family, was he asked me for my full name. So I was happy. I told him I've given away over 250 pounds. Well, back then it was about 150 pounds. But to date, I've given away 253 pounds of Smarties. And, one sleeve at a time. But so he said, he goes, "I need your full name." And I was all excited because I thought for sure I'd get a call from Lyft one day, the headquarters, and they'd say, "Hey, there's a box here the size of a refrigerator." Well, maybe not a refrigerator then. But maybe there'd be some Smartie love for me. And unfortunately, he probably lost it. And it hasn't happened yet. But that is part of the reason that I am the Smartieslyftdriver. And I'm sending this to you, Smartie people. And looking for a little Smarties love. Maybe a sponsorship. 11,000 rides, 2 years and 10 months. I do 110 rides a week. And oftentimes, there's 2 or 3 people in the car. And not a bad way to advertise your product. lots of laughs are had during it. So that is the Smarties Lyft driver, or the Smartie family small world experience that I had. And that's all for tonight. Be good to yourself.